Welcome into the Dad Verb Podcast. Topics around parenting from the lens of a dad.
Back at it. Whole squad's here. Andrew, Ben. How we doing, guys? How's the health, everyone? Everyone's feeling good?
Yeah.
Dude, this is amazing. It's as rare as a Stradivarius, but here we are, all healthy, ready to go. I am on the verge of a Disneyland trip, and we are really hoping we can stay healthy. It's always so stressful, like 2 days leading up to a freaking vacation, because you want it to go off without a hitch, and just sicknesses all around. We're actually going to hold Colin back from preschool, and just to mitigate the risk, we want this to go off well. Yeah. And this episode, guys, is going to be about just that: tips to travel with kids. We've got summer rolling around here in a little bit, few weeks out, and we want to arm you guys with a little bit of knowledge and some tips to make things a little bit easier as you either hit the road, do some air travel with your kids, your littles. I've done extensive amounts of content on this in the baby world, so I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit more in that toddler world, right? And if you guys have any other tips, feel free to share them. But Andrew, Ben, this is nice. It's nice to see you guys all nice and healthy. Saunders, what's going on with the nice button-up shirt? If you're watching on YouTube, it's very unlike Saunders to be so presentable and handsome.
Yeah. I had
always
family
handsome,
photos today.
less collared.
There it is.
We had what do you call it? The wife scheduled family photos, so we had all dressed in the same color, fancy shirt, and I just haven't changed since the 4:30 photo shoot. So
you're looking good, and looks like Ben right here. You guys, I didn't get the memo.
Record,
with the
I've worn
color.
several collared shirts on this podcast.
Have you? I always notice the graphic tees.
Usually they're blue.
Tees. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Andrew Saunders and I decided to go with the roughly the same shades of purple today, which is very unlikely. I literally own, I think, one thing in my entire closet that's this color, and I could have just hopped right into their family photos.
Dude,
no one would have ever known.
He would have fit.
No one would have ever known.
I was wearing something really similar to that earlier too.
We look like the olive line at Whole Foods, right? Just purple, green, purple. Like we could be the pickled grab it yourself by the pound line.
Gosh, I feel like bad that I'm the odd man out here. I don't like that. It kind of bothers me a little bit.
You don't like being left out
here with you guys. But for our audio listeners, hey, we're all wearing the same thing. Okay, no, it's
just imagine it.
Our souls are all the same color. They're beautiful.
Man, so I'm going to Disneyland, not World. We're going to Land. I've been to World a couple times as I was a kid. Land, this is going to be a first go. And honestly, leading up to this, like just traveling in general, which I think that's what our tips are going to be. Like it's going to be general travel, but just to start, like I know Ben is he's been around the block with regards to Disney. And if you could just give me a quick schooling, just a quick rundown of like 2-3 things I really need to know about Disneyland. What do I like? What can I? Okay, here's a bigger question. What can I skip? What can I skip? What's going to bore my kids?
I don't know much about Disneyland. I will say this. So I've never been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World several times. And then I get all my information through my wife, who is a Disney specialized like travel agent. So on top of her normal job, she does travel agency stuff.
Wake her up.
She's got all the expertise, man. But as far as like Disney in general, we've done it 1, 2, 3 times. 3 times. Once or twice with 2 kids. Once with 2 kids.
Yeah.
Something like that. We've been a couple times, once with both kids. We're going to be going back 2 more times with both kids, like within the next year.
Dude.
Like I said, I mean, she's a travel agent. So for us, it's like it's always like fact finding and content making and all that now. But in terms of like experiencing Disney, it's really cool. The kids, you know, at your age, like your kids' age, they're going to have a ton of fun because there's a lot that they can do, a lot that they can experience. They're going to understand like interacting with the characters more.
Yeah, we're really
like when they're a little bit
that.
smaller, sometimes the characters are kind of scary. Like my daughter thought they were kind of scary. My son thought they were scary the first time he went, and he was 1. This time, now that he's 3, he loved it. He just ran up, hugged them all, high-fived them, had a great time.
I'm excited to see that. Yeah.
But yeah, some of the like the kid friendly rides are awesome. Like Pirates of the Caribbean is like classic.
Yeah,
like that one's always really cool.
One.
That's super fun because for me it's like super nostalgic. And then to see your kids love that too is fun.
Yeah.
I think one of the unique ones in Disneyland that if your kids are really into like Pixar movies, the Cars like world. So Radiator Springs only exists as part of Disneyland.
Yeah.
So you get to see like Lightning McQueen and like walk down the main street from the movie and see the like the Cozy Cone Hotel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that doesn't exist in Disney World.
See,
so there's some unique stuff there.
One thing
is
that
that
I'm
like the Bug's Life only exists at Disney World and not at Disneyland too.
Yes. Yeah.
I think World has so many more. They just is just sheer size.
They have more acres.
Yeah, exactly. But Land. So there's a thing at Land. It's like a Star Wars one, and I'm really wanting that, but unfortunately, like I think that's one of the ones that our little group that we're going with has decided like no, that's an easy skip. Because like my wife hates it, could care less. All the others like sci-fi, all nope. So that's like a no, not even. And I can't even like just walk past it for like 4 seconds.
You better come back with a custom lightsaber.
I'm
expecting a custom lightsaber on a future podcast episode.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I built 2 of them and it's awesome. It's so cool.
Okay, how much is that? I'll do it.
I know
it's pricey, but I'll do it.
It's like $250.
Okay, I was hoping you would say $150 because like that's sure $250. You know what? I think maybe it's a pass. No,
so it's the experience is super cool. Like the entire because it's very much like a theater type experience. Like you go in, you build it, and I don't want to give too much of it away because it's so cool
that our kids would enjoy as well, or is it?
Yes, I think your kids would enjoy it too.
Okay, it's not too adult like they. Okay.
No, you go in, they're telling you all kinds of stories, and like you get to pick out all the parts and pick your kyber crystal and there's somebody who's like guiding you through. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's somebody who's guiding you through. There's like a whole ceremony that happens. Like it's very nerdy. Very nerdy.
And that's
why it is awesome.
My wife's out, man. Oh
yeah,
I really
it's super
want
cool.
to.
No,
maybe
I will say
a
like
Dad Verb like trip. Just a bunch of dads, just a bunch of guys. What if we did that? What if this podcast got big enough? And we're just like, you know what? We're picking
dudes.
Yeah, we're picking 2 other guys or something like that, just subscribers or followers who listen to the podcast. And we hit a milestone. We get some big sponsor. And like, all right, the 5 of us are all going.
Send us to Disney World.
How sick would that be?
Be awesome.
Oh, man.
Wait, but do we have to take the kids?
Absolutely not. No, it's just for dad.
It's just a dude's trip.
Drinking around the world at Epcot gets way better when you don't have your kids with you.
Oh man, no,
so the Galaxy's Edge is for sure, and I don't know how the one in Disneyland is. I know the one at Hollywood Studios and Disney World is massive. Like, this is gonna sound so nerdy. This is like all my so I have 2 Star Wars tattoos like on my calves. Like this is a big deal to me.
Oh yeah, we just ripped open a hole.
Yeah, like walking into Batuu, which is like the world at Disney World, and walking to the back and seeing a full-size Millennium Falcon for the first time is like. People like make fun of Disney adults all the time. That was like my moment, like walking in and then seeing Chewbacca walking around underneath a full-size Millennium Falcon was like one of the greatest moments like we've ever had at a park. Like, and my kids loved it too because they're into the movies because I'm into the movies.
Yeah,
so it was cool. It was really solid.
So this is your Pokemon, right? This is your like you guys give me crap for the
for sure. Yeah, that's my Pokemon.
One thing that I haven't. It's hard for me to even address in the review videos, but because I don't fully know the answer because it feels like it's left and right, like a yes or no. It's Veer Wagon. Is that Disney approved or no? Or can you bring in wagons?
You cannot. So You can bring in a wagon if you have a medical exception to have a wagon, but that's it. And there are certain stroller sizes that you're allowed to have or not. So like some of the wider strollers are actually too wide for the park, and they're sort of very, and the staff is like, the cast members are very well trained to spot the ones that are going to be too wide. So like if you go in and you have a stroller that's too wide, there's a very good chance that they'll tell you like, hey, you can't bring that in. But wagons, as far as I know, are completely off limits unless you have a medical exemption to have one. But you can run like a Cybex Gazelle S, Vista, the double bobs are all
I think
fine.
we're going to do a double Vista because it's in line.
That's great.
And we're going to be like all day, like the moment it opens to like the fireworks at night, like all day. Yeah. And we need to like get the double Vista, but and they're a little bit too big for it, which is actually kind of sad to see. Like our kids are just they're grown out of it,
outgrowing it,
but they need it because they're going to be tired. The one thing that I was also debating though was there is one. It's the Even Flow, not the Pivot Expand. It's like the Pivot Explore. It looks like a wagon, but you push it like a stroller. But then you can also swivel it, so then you pull it like a wagon. But it looks like a good hybrid, and I'm like, that's the one where I'm like, could I get away with the wagon? Because when you push it through, it looks like you're pushing it as a stroller. So it
depends on the dimensions. That's the big thing, is like the measurement of it. So you can go on their site; they'll give you all the dimensions that are allowed, and I think there's a listing of like examples of like what you can and can't have. We've run double strollers even up to having like the skateboard on the back of the Vista. And that was all fine. No issues there. No one even batted an eyelash. But yeah, the stroller wagons, I know for sure they know to look out for them. And so if you don't have that medical exemption before you go, then they would not allow it in.
Man. Well, all right. Let's shift gears. I mean, we went it all in on Disney and stuff like that, but let's get into some general tips. I'll kick it off. Okay. So if you are going to a place like Disney or a theme park, Universal, whatever, or something like zoos or larger trips where family might be spread out. One thing that I would recommend if you're watching on YouTube, it's going to be these guys right here. I hinted at it last week, and we gave it a test run earlier. These are two really simple like watch bands, right? They look like Apple Watches, a simple nylon thing. They're like $10 on Amazon, but inside of the watch is an Apple AirTag. And the kids wear them. You have an ability to be able to track them wherever they are. Now they're different. There's so many different iterations of like how to get an AirTag on your kid, whether that's you can insert them in the sole of your shoe. They've got little pins where you can just pin it to their clothes. There are a bunch of different ways. There's like a little, you know how like in the Crocs, there's, what are those called? The little widget things,
the gibbets.
The gibbets that you put into the Crocs. There's like an AirTag adapter to that. I wouldn't recommend that one. I feel like that one could get kicked off really easy. But I don't know. But yeah, I would say being able to AirTag the kiddos. But then one other tip that I also heard was writing in a spot like I've seen parents even do it on their skin, writing like the parent's phone number just in case they do get lost and they're not air tagged or whatever, and they find an adult or something like that. It's just written on them, like how to get on
Sharpie your kid.
Exactly. Yeah. Or it's like
if lost, please return to.
Exactly, pretty much. Or I've seen like parents that have like kind of inside of the shirt, they've like sewn like a little something or other. The ones I've seen on Instagram are just moms just straight up like with a Sharpie before they enter like a zoo or a theme park or like SeaWorld, they just write the phone number on the kid's skin. But yeah, I think just a couple ideas to prevent the Mom, I'm lost and I'm freaking out, and that's a heart racing moment to consider, especially with crazy toddlers. So that's tip number one. Saunders, I'm sorry, we've like just been going back and forth.
You're good.
What you got, man? What you got?
So my big thing for apartments, or amusement parks, zoos is don't take a stroller. Don't be that guy. I got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. All right,
be that guy.
I put the 1-year-old in the chest carrier, and the 2-year-old walked. We did like a 3-hour tour of the local big zoo. We saw giraffes, right? If she got tired, I picked her up. It's the thing that drives me nuts. And so we're raising the girls at this point where once you can walk, you walk. If you get tired, we'll give you a rest. But strollers are for those who cannot walk. They are not for 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds.
We're gonna go on like a 14-hour run at Disney, so like we're prepping for.
I get it.
For
I
that.
get it. I just like when we were kids, we would do Chicago. So we'd leave day after Thanksgiving for our road trip down and do Chicago because it was when they did. And I think they still do this. Madison Avenue had all their windows done for. It's when they did their Christmas holiday like windows, and it was a big thing in downtown Chicago. And so we never took a stroller, to my knowledge. I walked around like a little puffy Christmas tree straight out of a Christmas Story with my arms out for years. I mean, I was 10, 11, 12, and we just learned how to walk and have that endurance and do it. And I did find I've got a backpack thing for the 2-year-old that's like one of those bars that kind of goes behind your back at your hip level, so she can stand on that and then put her hands on my shoulders. And then it's got a shoulder harness, so I can clip that. So if she does lose, she becomes a backpack really quick.
Yeah, but, dude, man, gone are the days of the baby carry. I really like those. Those are amazing. We're just not at that stage anymore. But that was amazing. Yeah. But I will say, to Andrew's point, though, there is the ideology of like, no, you're just gonna walk, and then there's the actual like kids losing their absolute like going crazy because I don't want to walk anymore, and we've been there. So
what's
nice
the farthest you've got your kid to walk?
What's up?
What's the farthest you've got? Like I've been testing my daughter because I know how far away my parents' house is. My 2-year-old can walk a mile before she's like, I'm done. And that's about 20 minutes at dad's pace, 1 mile, probably 20, give or take.
I don't know that I can put like a mileage on it, but we've been to plenty of like long day events where by late afternoon they're just burned out. They've just and they're just over it, and they need something, and putting them on my shoulders is, that's like that my traps are done, so I'm like, and then they're both like clamoring for like the one raw, because we only bring like one like bugaboo butterfly, and they're both like fighting for it, and so we have to take turns, and so I've seen like the late afternoon fights and pissiness. Ben, what you got, man?
So going back to the idea of like the lost kid thing, this is one of the big tips that I think came from Instagram and was kind of validated by some friends of ours. So if you do get into a situation where your kid gets lost, don't yell their name. So instead of yelling their name, describe them. So start saying like, little boy, blonde hair, what they're wearing, and start saying that out loud. Because if you're yelling a name, nobody knows what your kid looks like. They have no idea if they're standing right next to your child and that child is lost. But if you start describing the kid and somebody hears that description, they're more likely to stop and look around and see if they can identify that kid around them. So everybody, as they're hearing like, little boy, blonde hair, blue shirt, blah, blah, blah. As they're hearing that, they're going to stop and look around and see, do I see this kid near me? Okay. But if I'm just there yelling my son's name, I'm the only one who knows what he looks like.
Okay.
So if he doesn't hear me, he doesn't know.
Are you basically that
saying fell out like of the Code Adam protocol?
Yeah.
Because like at Walmart and Target, when you do a Code Adam, they give a description. They don't give the kid's name.
Yeah.
So run me through like a real world example. So like, are you saying, help, I'm looking for an Asian boy with a red shirt, is you like help, like caveating it?
You're saying like lost child and then describing what they look like.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're getting everybody's attention as much as you can, and then making a really detailed description of what they look like and where they could be. So that everybody gets that gets that sense of they know what they're looking for. Again, because if you start saying, oh, my kid is lost, and just yelling their name, nobody knows what that child looks like. And there could be 10 kids with the same name within that vicinity, especially somewhere like Disney World.
Gotcha.
So, describing them is going to make it a little bit easier.
So, my next tip is going to be, again, more toward the toddlers and all that, but this is something that we've actually talked at length with, and it's the concept of like coming away with gifts or amusement park, junk, whatever. I want this, I see this and that. How do you say no and all that stuff? And this is the approach that we're kind of like that. The family, we're going with another family of our set of friends of ours, and we kind of thought about like, okay, and they're like, they can be like big spenders and stuff like that, and really treat their kids where I'm just the cheap ass. Like, no. But I was like, I don't want them like looking at I want the $100 Mickey, whatever. I'm like, nah, it's not. So what we're thinking about doing, or what we're going to do, is loading up pretty much just like a little debit card, gift card, whatever. And letting that be the bad guy, right? We'll load up a preset amount, $30, $50, whatever, right? And give it to each kid, or you hold on to it and say like, this is yours and this is yours. You can go until this is gone, or if you want, you can save it for even more when we get home. So that way, number one, we're not the bad guys. Number one, right? It's like, you used it up. That's just how it is. You agreed to this. You know what you're getting into. This is how it is. Money goes by fast, doesn't it? Right? You can spend that money on for small things or one big thing, whatever. But I think the bigger thing is, it's like a good way for just to understand money management, just like the introduction of just kind of like teaching them, what a swipe actually feels like and how money goes away. You have this thing and then you get to dwell on like, did I actually like that? Did I need that? So it's just an introduction to that. But I think it's also a way to like curb we hope would curb the fights and all that, because then it's less about like mom and dad says no, and it's more like you have the power in your hands. That's up to you. So now they get so and it kind of teaching them patience. Like, listen, there's a big theme park here, right? There's a big zoo, it's a big SeaWorld thing to explore, right? And if you want to blow it all in the first little gift shop that you see, that's on you. But let's explore the park, let's figure it out, and you can like let them think through a purchase rather and understand like what scarce, how scarce money can actually be when they really want something. Right. So just another tip to kind of if you're going into some sort of vacation where there's going to be a lot of money spending and kids are going to be nagging at you.
Works really well for Christmas presents for older kids as well. We did that for my buddy's 5 kids. We gave them Visa cards that were preloaded with $100 each. Nice. And let them loose in the mall. And like the 2 older teenage girls went straight to Victoria's Secrets and got bras. And then everybody else kind of camped out at Old Navy and had like left the plethora. But his eldest son bought this really amazing NASA like Mylar glowy coat that was basically $100.
There you go.
And that's all he wanted. He was like, I looked in those 2 shops. I don't want anything there, but that coat, I want that coat. All right, dude, you do you. Yeah. And it was a really great way to do Christmas, because they also learned, right? Like, oh, taxes. I have to pay for those too. Yeah. Yeah. You can't just add up to 100, right?
There you go. Exactly. The sales tax. That's another good point.
We've done the same thing with our kids for trips. Our oldest, now that he understands the concept of like how a card works. So when we were doing like birthdays or Christmas or Easter or whatever, we just said, hey, we're going on this trip. You can give them a gift card, and then they can just load that gift card up. And then he has, X amount of dollars to spend. And then we kind of help him understand, okay, if you want to get this, Mickey stuffed animal, like, yeah, cool. Pirate Mickey's awesome. But like, here's how much money it's going to take off your card, which leaves you with like this much. Are you sure you want it? Oh yeah, that's what I want. And then he can get that. And then he could buy himself some popcorn. And, when he's out, and he knows he can't buy any more, tchotchkes, I guess, to bring home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. There you go. Saunders, I'm going to let you go. Well, I'm going to bring it back to like another Disney question. I won't. I'll just let Saunders go, and then I'll bug you guys about it later. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andrew.
Getting prepped,
No. My next one is it sounds almost juvenilely stupid, but I carry a dad fanny pack and I keep food
Dude,
in it.
Yes.
I
This
have
is
one.
exactly what I was just about to get into.
It has a
Yes.
Velcro label on it. It says "Daddy," right? And it's camo. It's black camo. It's really dumb, but it says "Don't mistake my kindness for weakness." But it's got 2 diapers, 2 pull-ups, a thing of wipes, and snacks. Because
I'm so
when they're
excited
getting
to talk
fussy,
about fanny packs.
when they're getting angry, like a Go-Go Squeeze. I love Go-Go Squeeze. All right, I don't know how we get them to sponsor us, but Go-Go Squeeze, right? Like, just here, have a mouthful of applesauce and don't talk to me for 5 minutes while you're sucking that down.
Dude, you
Yeah.
literally
So
have
actually,
exactly
I have a
what
daddy
I was
fanny
going to talk
pack.
about.
And I have no shame in wearing it.
So
like,
it's acceptable. It's acceptable.
It's totally acceptable. I even
100%.
have like
All
the
right.
removable nameplates. One of them says #DadLife. I
Oh my
have
gosh.
#MomLife. I have #Grandma. Yeah, like it's totally set up for interexchanges. Apparently, the dog decided to join me.
Hey,
here.
what's up, puppy?
So
Like,
So
where
I-
else am I supposed to keep all my accessories?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
that's where I need to keep
Well,
all
right,
my
but-
things.
Well, we're going to be going
Right,
on
but
roller
I'm getting
coasters
it-
and stuff. I just like don't want to.
Yeah.
I need like a
but
dad,
not a backpack, right? Like,
no.
Ben,
Talk
you
about
held up
a
your backpack.
front-
I'm talking about
No, that's not a
crossbody
backpack.
in the front.
that wasn't.
No,
That's a pretty big fanny pack.
That's a
This is
big
a-
ass fanny pack, but I'm just it's
crossbody bag. So it rides right
I'm
here.
telling-
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
see-
large crossbody. So here's the thing: the only thing that I have right now is like a smaller Lulu one that I got. It's all black and it's nice. I feel like I don't know if I want something bigger because for me, I'm just going very minimal. It's just like wallet, phone, chapstick, and maybe a couple other small things. I'm like, I think that should be enough. And I could wear it crossbody, like over the shoulder and all that, or I just do it old school, just right around the waist, baby. Like
That's what I
fine.
do.
So
You know what the
Yeah,
cool
man, let
part
it
about?
ride.
So the cool part is mine has mole accessorizers, so I can strap on mole devices to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or right, and one of them I have is a zip up thing called a dump pouch, and so it's about a 2-quart bag where you can just put dirty clothes or diapers or anything else, and the other one is a water bottle holder, and that's as big as this thing gets. It's like a, and I mean, if we were at like a grill out, it would be a beer koozie and like the chip holder, right? Like it would be perfect. But
Yeah.
and the one I have has an internal zipper, and the marketing for it is for this is where you can put your concealed carry firearm, and I'm like, no, that's more like where my iPhone goes, because
Yeah.
I don't think that's the way. Like, I don't want to turn it over to be somebody be like, wait, let me get my 9mm out of my diaper bag before I
Ben,
give it to you. Like,
what's the brand of the one that you get? Do they have like a slightly smaller profile version?
Yeah, they've got I have the Alpaca Bravo
Alpaca, that's the
X-Sling,
one.
I think. Alpaca.
You told me
yeah.
about the alpaca
I have
before.
I can share a code for that too.
Are you sure? Are you pulling yours up, Saunders?
But yeah,
I have
so
the tactical
I've got
baby gear
alpaca stuff. I like it.
Oh,
Dad
tactical.
pack, whatever it's called.
Gotcha.
They make a mini Bravo as well, which is like a little bit
Okay.
smaller, and then they make
Okay.
a bunch of different form factors. Mine is that size because it also doubles as like, so I have like all my normal stuff. It can double as like a carry and concealed bag. I've also used it as like a minimal diaper bag. So like if it's just me and I'm like kind of run and gun situation, like
wipes.
I can put a diaper, some wipes, some snacks in there with no issue.
That's what's up.
And then it's got a bunch of organizer pockets inside of it. So I can, like when we're traveling, another tip, always have a backup battery. So I always carry like a little rechargeable battery in my bag. And the nice thing about the alpacas is there's a USB connection. So I can actually run the battery inside my bag and just run a cable out. And so I can plug my phone in without having to like open up my whole bag or have it inaccessible.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, I mean, I kind of keep all the essentials in there, a couple snacks, first
you know
aid
what?
kit, all that stuff.
I'm going to Amazon. I'm getting this one that I saw right now. It's a cheap one. It's like $15, but like I got I'm doing it right now. I'm getting it.
Make sure it breathes, man. Like
It breathes?
I mean, that's the one thing that I cannot stand about my backpack, but I love about this fanny pack is it's got that weird mesh that lets the small of my back breathe. So I can wear it for 3 or 4 hours and I don't end up with like this weird spot, right? And I'm sure Ben has the same thing.
Yeah, it's just got like a, if I pull it back up, it's got like a, it's like a padding on the back.
Okay.
So this actually gives you a little airflow, and then it has like a like another waterproof zipper, then like a what's that called, a luggage loop.
Yeah, luggage loop. Yep.
I'm gonna.
That thing's been everywhere with me. It's been great.
I'm gonna chat one over to you guys. You guys let me know if it's a cheapo, simple one, but just like give me your thoughts on it, because again, I don't wear these very often, but like for Disney, I feel like it's necessary. I feel like I need something, but I don't want to make a massive investment. So I'm gonna chat you guys something.
$35.
35.
Expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like I've mentioned in the past, I'm cheap as hell. Like I think you underestimate how cheap I am. Like
He's just duct taping stuff together, strapping it around his waist.
Not above.
Looks like a drug mule.
I just
that's
sent
another
you
top
a
tip
very
for sure. Like make sure like a good fanny pack, or a good like crossbody bag, I think is invaluable. People like used to, I've been wearing them for years, and I feel like people used to make fun of them all the time. I use it constantly. Every trip, every day I'm out, like I have that crossbody bag on at some point during the day, because it's always, it's got my stuff in it. It's, you know, my pockets aren't loaded down. I can carry stuff for the kids, carry stuff for myself. It's great.
But Andrew, you're not worried about like diapers anymore, right? Are you?
No,
Or you
no,
still
no,
got.
no. We're not having to worry about diapers or any of that for this particular one. So yeah, look at the one that I just chatted you. It's a smaller. I don't even know. I'm sorry. Like this episode is like all of a sudden people are like, shut the hell up about the damn bag.
We'll put the links. I'll put the links in the show notes. People can.
It's
look
easily
at what
one
we're
of the
talking
best
about.
travel things you can get is like a really good crossbody bag.
Y'all got me like so hyped up right
The
now.
other
I'm,
thing
like, so excited
that you
for
are
this.
going to get frustrated with a front bag is the rides when they close them down. You're gonna be playing the like, how do I position it game.
So just go waste mode.
I don't know. I'm just saying like
okay. The
Ben
spare
probably
battery
has done that.
The spare battery is actually
I never had an
key.
issue with it, even with a bag my size.
Okay.
The only thing I would have to do every now and then is if it close to your waist, you just have to shift it. But I was also like managing 2 kids and then trying to shift this out of the way, and it wasn't bad.
The one that I chatted you has a ventilated mesh. I feel like it's pretty solid, and and there's a picture that shows everything that I mentioned: phone, wallet, you know, the chapstick, all that stuff, and then keys, and then the spare battery for a larger one. So that's the one. Anyway, okay.
Where it's at, man.
Ben, do you have like a last tip for us before we sign off this video? I feel like I've dragged. No, Andrew brought it up. Saunders brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I brought up the fanny pack.
Yep.
One thing I will say that we never travel without, especially living in the South and doing like a lot of road trips, is a good quality stroller fan.
Oh yeah,
like having just a rechargeable fan. Yeah, having some kind of airflow just to keep the kids cool.
That's true.
That, and go to a Lowe's, a Home Depot, anywhere where there are like day laborers or people doing manual labor, right, that are going to be there. Buy the cooling towels that you can wet and snap and they cool down. I forget the company that makes them, but it's I don't know. It's not like proprietary. But there's several.
Aren't they
companies
just like
that make
the
them.
microfiber towels?
Yeah, I think they are. But you basically put them in. You get them soaked. You kind of snap them like you would a towel, and it cools it off. And it's just enough to like wrap around your neck. I use them when I'm doing yard work all the time in the summer, because it's always like almost 100 degrees for months on end here. But being in a park, a zoo, whatever in the summertime, great way to cool yourself down or your kids down like really quickly for minimal cost, minimal effort, because you just pour a little water on it and it's good to go.
That's a good tip, man. Solid tip. Yeah, you actually do underestimate how hot the inside of a stroller can sometimes get, especially during summer. And you've got the extended sun canopy like all the way down, kind of traps some heat, especially here in Texas. Like it gets hot. We actually do have one of those. We had like this one of those fans, and it was like kind of USB-C charged, and it had like these 3 little legs that kind of look like those Joby tripods that are like really flexible, so you can really bend it and like mount it onto whatever surface of the stroller that you want. So that was handy. But I wish the fan was a little bit stronger, because we did find ourselves like actually using that more than we realized. And you also want to make sure that the fan actually has like small little smaller gaps, so that just to double check and make sure that baby's fingers aren't able to like slip through and go into the fan. that's always something to consider.
So they don't get a pedicure.
That's the worst kind of pedicure right there. That's an urgent care pedicure. So yeah. Anyway, listen. If you are listening to this and you have any other major tips, whether it's for a baby or toddler, I know we kind of hit on the toddler stuff, but if there are any tips that you kind of want to share, let us know in the comments. By the way, I did get a couple. I had like a little, almost like an impromptu casting call of people who want to like review stuff. I got a couple emails to our hello at Dad Verb. I really appreciate those messages. It was really cool. I'm trying to like, I don't have the power I once had to get like product like I used to, but I'm trying to get it so I can get it to someone. But anyway, those of you who have shot me a message, there's like 4 or 5 of you guys, and I haven't hit you guys back. I'm gonna hit you back, but I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for commenting. Anyway, that'll do it for this week's podcast. As usual, you can check out dadverb.com for courses up through year 1 of fatherhood. Check the show notes or the description of this video if you want to join us on Discord with the community of dads with ongoing conversations. Got some active mods on there. Again, shoot us a message if you have anything that you want to add, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.